Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the virtual meetup. On today's agenda, we will discuss the new Recreation Outreach Solution. We're recording this meetup and we'll be posting the recording to YouTube. We'll share the YouTube playlist link in the chat window. Later in the meetup, we will have a section for Q&A. If you would like to submit questions, you can use the Q&A option at the bottom of your Zoom window. And with that being said, I'll go ahead and pass over to Matt to get us started.
Thanks, Chris. So today we want to talk about our recreation outreach solution. And we've been talking with a variety of state and local governments responsible for managing outdoor recreation opportunities. And while these agencies vary in the type of opportunities they manage, from trails and parks, watchable wildlife opportunities, hunting and fishing opportunities, they all have the need to engage with the public and increase the public participation in those recreation activities. So as you started looking through some of the challenges from governments that are managing these opportunities, we saw kind of several key areas emerge. So for decades, there's been a decline in the number of people that are participating in outdoor recreation. And specifically, governments have seen a decline in the number of folks participating in revenue-generating activities. So things such as hunting and fishing, recreation permit purchasing, things like that. So they kind of seen a reduced, consistent decline in that activity. And this decreased revenue is a major issue for those government agencies, as a lot of the conservation activities that happen across the board are kind of rely on the funds generated from license and permitting sales. And another challenge we saw is kind of getting the permitting and license information out of siloed business systems that are often tabular in nature and may not be connected with kind of a spatial component and bringing it into their GIS or being able to visualize that information. So being able to visualize that data and identify trends that could help them kind of target marketing activities to specific groups. So this is very important, as it enables those organizations to have a well-informed marketing and communication strategy. And this is not only a challenge for those types of agencies managing fish and wildlife resources, but for agencies that manage all types of outdoor recreation. And finally, a trend that we've heard recently when we talk with our users during the COVID-19 pandemic is a surge in the use of outdoor public spaces. So in some ways, it's a trend in a positive direction. So people are out and engaging in these recreation activities. But it also is a kind of an interesting problem for agencies to manage. So they're leading to resources distribution issues. So some of these are more concentrated in certain areas, kind of near population centers maybe. But also while those government, so we're seeing a surge, it's a good thing, but it's also kind of as they're managing staffing and resources constraints. So being able to engage the public and promote recreation opportunities during the increased usage. So while folks are starting to get more interested in things, by also kind of targeting marketing opportunities and campaigns to them to kind of move from maybe just going and hiking on a trail or visiting somewhere for like a day use area. But how do you now kind of also capture that user's interest and maybe turn it into other recreation permit sales, or spending a night at a campground, going out and doing hunting or fishing opportunities. So it's kind of that's a challenge to how to kind of connect those two things together. So thinking about all of those potential challenges that we've heard from users, we developed a recreation outreach solution to help those folks increase public awareness of the opportunities that are around them, give them access to this license and permitting information. How do I get started with something? It's really kind of important, especially for newer users that might be used to a certain type of recreation opportunity, but maybe in the case of, I haven't fished in a while, how do I get started with that? And also, while kind of this other kind of interesting thing that we can help with is this capturing recreation experiences as folks go outdoors. How is their time when they went out there? Is there things that we can improve on as an organization can improve on? And then kind of this concept when we want to visualize what's happening with the sale of permitting licenses or recreation other licenses, fish and wildlife opportunities. So how do you analyze those trends, figure out maybe areas that could be promoted more, In particular, kind of thinking of this in this concept of the R3 campaigns that Fish and Wildlife organizations target. So how do we go out and find demographics or areas that may be underserved, and we could kind of target and help communicate that information. So really maximizing the use of all of the recreation resources. So within the recreation outreach solution, and this is all as a lot of our solutions now with our ArcGIS Solutions apps are delivered as this kind of software as a service offering. So when you deploy this solution, you get everything that you'll see today kind of comes with it. And when we think about our solutions, we often think about like the persona, so who would be using that information, using these apps, and then kind of how do we build around and kind of help for each of those user types, those personas. So in this case, we think of starting with kind of that data analyst or that GIS analyst, someone that's kind of working in the data and the information. So being able to pull in license or permitting information from those other business systems that already established, bringing in your geographic information, your boundaries, whatever that may be specific to your agency, always going to be kind of specific and geographic specific to that. So bringing that license, bringing that geographic data, pulling in population or demographic information to be able to help, like who's being underserved, what is our demographic breakdown of that, and then kind of pushing that information together using our recreation license management component. And so within that, I can then kind of get all of that information and that data together, share the information to other staff in my organization. So me as a data analyst, I can create that content, share it with a park and recreation staff, or maybe an R3 coordinator in your organization. And all of that that great information can be bubbled up into a recreation license dashboard. And then we kind of move into this concept of the general public, or really anyone that just needs to know about, think of those, these are just the viewers and consumers of all of this great information. So it all is kind of centered around an outdoor recreation hub. And so within that ArcGIS Hub initiative, we have a variety of locators. So be able to, how do I find and search for areas near me? What are the kind of recreation opportunities I can get from that? And then also having outdoor experience surveys. So how was my fishing experience, or my hunting, or you just visiting a park? Like what was the experience like that? Was there, especially when we're talking, I mentioned that surge in the kind of outdoor engagement and activity through kind of use, people want to get outdoors, and this year, maybe there's some resource issues going on at a particular park or a wildlife area. And so getting that kind of experience survey is important to capture that information. And so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Lauren, and she's actually going to go and show all of this great information live.
All right, thanks, Matt. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Looks good.
Okay, wonderful. Usually there's a green line around it that I did not see, but as long as you can see it, we are good to go. Okay, so like Matt mentioned, those first two business challenges really hinge on getting the public engaged and excited about outdoor recreation. And like you mentioned, we've configured a hub site to really address that. And the idea behind this site is not to replace existing content that you might already have. It's really designed to integrate that and to really make it easy for beginners to get into outdoor recreation and get the information that they need to just tailor an experience to what they want, get the information they need, buy their license, and get outside and have that wonderful experience. Like I said, it's designed to link back to already existing content, but it can stand on its own as well. If this is the only thing you use in the solution, it absolutely works without any extra sort of links as well. And like Matt mentioned, it deploys with a collection of our locator applications to really make that experience seamless for the public. I want to go fishing. Let's take a look what's available. And so you'll see those applications throughout the hub site, and we'll go ahead and take a look and jump in. The first main page is our outdoor recreation page. This is our overview of the entire sort of outdoor recreation activities. And it starts you with some nice orienting statistics. How many open parks do we have? What kind of fishing spots are in our area? Big game hunting locations like that. And then the first thing that a public user will see is our park locator web map. And this is a nice just browsing experience, a nice experience if people just want to see where parks are. They can go ahead and click on one of the parks and get a pop-up for some general information. What's there, the phone number, a nice description, etc. But there's not a whole lot that they can do with that except click on a feature and get a pop-up. To make that a little more interactive, we've embedded our park locator and all of our locators in this hub site. And to get that more interactive experience, they can either click here on the Launch Park Locator button or click here on the Recreation Learn More to launch the first of these locators. The park locator is the one we start with because it offers the most filtering capability. It's the most general of our locators. And so when a customer opens this, they can expand the filters, and boy howdy, there are a lot of them, and sort of tailor that experience. If I'm a member of the public and I know I want to go canoeing this weekend and I want to go with my dog, I can select those two, and you can already see parks have been filtered out. Perfect. I know I want to go to Aberdeen, but I don't mind driving a little bit. So I'll say within 30 miles, and I want to go to Aberdeen, not Scotland. And all I have to do is either enter an address or click on the map, and the park locator will show me the park resources that are within that 30-mile radius that match what I want. All of these parks offer canoeing, and they allow dogs. If I click on one of the responses, on one of the results, I get a really beautiful pop-up that mirrors what I saw on the map. And I have live links here to link to existing content maybe your organization already has, right? If I have a reservation portal, I can link here. If I have a park website already, I can link here. And I get all of that useful information from the pop-up as well. My dogs are allowed. It's really great. I can also see more activities, right? Oh, there are stables available at this park. I can go cycling. There's a playground. This sounds like a really cool place that I might want to go. You'll also notice these links down at the bottom that say find a place to fish or boat nearby and find a place to hunt nearby. One really cool thing about these locators is that they're all interconnected. Those links actually link to our other locators that are deployed with the solution. And if I click on one of these links, it'll launch the water resource locator already configured to the same location that I've chosen in the park locator. So now not only do I know that, hey, I wanted to go canoeing and I want to go with my dog, but man, there's like a boat launch a mile away. Maybe I can do that. Or maybe I have really fond memories of going hunting with my dad and I want to find a place to hunt nearby Susquehanna Park. I can click on that link and find a place to go hunt also. And there's no hooking up that you need to do with these. They come pre-configured this way in the hub site. So from the park locator, you can get to the wildlife resource locator. You can get to the water resource locator. All that with just one launch button here. And like I said, the hub site comes with these already wired up. There's nothing that you need to do to get these to work this way. But let's say that I already knew I wanted to go hunting when I got to the hub site. I can launch the wildlife resource locator from the hunting button, and I get that same filtering experience that I got in the park locator. Once you look at one of these locators, you have a good pattern for identifying what you can do with all the other ones. And you'll notice with the wildlife locator, we have areas and we have locations. These are access points. And so that's why we have doubles on the filters here. Let's say I want to go, I want to go hunting, but I know I want a restroom because it's just me. I can do that same workflow or I want to go to Aberdeen, Maryland. Let's say I just want 15 miles this time. I get similar results, right? I can look at the website. I can see what hunting is actually allowed in this area. I can see what specific game is available here. And I can see what kind of amenities there are. And the one license locator that I haven't, or the one locator, pardon me, that I haven't talked about yet is our license locator. And both the wildlife resource locator and the water resource locator actually link to our final locator, and there are a lot of them, our recreation license locator. So if I've decided on some place I want to go, all I need to do is click on that link to find a recreation license locator, a place to find a license near me. The fishing and boating Learn Mores both link to our water resource locator. And again, once you've used one of these locators, you have a really good pattern for using them all. Maybe I want to take my boat on this vacation. So we do the same thing. Oops. Here we go. And now I know there's a boat launch within 6 miles of Aberdeen. I can get the phone number for the Susquehanna River launch. I can go to their website. I know that I'm going to need 11 bucks. And I can see all the different types of fish that maybe I want to try to catch. So this section really makes it very easy for members of the public to find an experience that speaks to whatever activity they want to do. If they're not quite sure, the park locator is up front and center, and it offers the most options. But if they know they want to go hunting or fishing or boating, all they have to do is click these buttons and they get a really easy locator experience to try to find what they want. The next section deals with licensing. And maybe if you knew you wanted to go fishing, you knew exactly where you wanted to go fishing, you just weren't sure where to get a license as a member of the public, you would find our license locator here. And those same filtering options are available to you. And man, I have a pretty great adventure planned already. So all I need now is my license, and I know I'm going to be hunting, fishing, and boating, so I'm not going to choose any of those. We'll do our same workflow. And it looks like Anderson's Marchandale right in town. Whoops, not Walmart. Anderson's, yeah, okay, good. It looks like I can get all of the licenses that I need. And you'll notice even our recreation license locator links out to our other locators. The Find a Place to Fish or Boat will link out to our water resource locator, and the Find a Place to Hunt will link out to our wildlife resource locator. So they're all very, very interconnected and hopefully give customers a lot of different entry points for finding what they need quickly. If you are an agency that already has a licensing portal online, where members of the public can go and apply for a license, we have a place for that here. This Learn More button can be configured to just link out to that license portal. And the same thing for our Make a Reservation area. If you're a parks department that rents out picnic spaces or campsites or something along those lines, you can link to that here. These next two sections are available with Hub Premium. The Join the Outdoor Community section is really a great opportunity to solicit volunteers. It's available via Hub Premium. If you don't have Hub Premium, it will still, this section will still deploy, it just won't have this button. But if you do have Hub Premium and a member of the public clicks this button, they get a really great opportunity to join your organization as a Hub community member, get access to data that you've shared with them, get access to volunteer programs, and things like that. So for more experienced users who really want to help out or who really want to dig into data, this is a really great opportunity for that. If you have outdoor events, they can be listed here. You know, Christmas bird counts I know are coming up. You know, hunting education classes, things like that, they can all be listed here. And then again, for that more experienced outdoors person, we offer your organization the opportunity to link to open data sets using some tags. So if a member of the public clicks on the fishing data, they'll get sent to an open data site where every data set shared with that open data site with the tag fishing will be shown. And they can download that data and do what they want with it, right? Maybe they want to find a really great hunting spot and apply for a tag in that spot. Or they really want to know where all the best fishing is, or they want your topo data for your parks, right? That's all available here, and that's an opportunity for you as the organization to make that data available to the public. And we did want to include the National Hunting and Shooting Sports Action Plan, the National R3 plan. This is a quote from it. Really just driving home the fact that conservation in the US has historically really been driven by these revenue sales and how important these revenue sales are for our continued use of these beautiful areas in our homes, right? Or even just in the US in general. And so we do link out to that. Again, this can be configured to whatever you want. Maybe there's a local plan that you want to promote. This can be configured for that. So that's the main overview page. Again, the idea is to be as simple and easy to use and to get people into experiences as possible. But maybe as a member of a public, you already know you want to go fishing. You can click on the fishing breakout page. There's a similar pattern here to our main page. Again, we have some orienting statistics, so you get an idea of what's available. But for the absolute beginner who might not even know where to start, we give a step-by-step instructions. Really high level, right? But this is basically how it goes. You want to review the regulations, you want to get a fishing license, you want to find a spot, and then hopefully report back on how that experience was. And that's getting into the business challenge of soliciting feedback from the public, right? And understanding where people are going and what their experience is like. And the site follows this pattern. So the first thing that they see is the fishing rules and regulations link. And this is meant to link out to whatever resources your organization has that explain what sort of rules and regulations are in play. The next section deals with getting a license. Again, you can click here to launch the Recreation License Locator, or your organization can link to their online licensing portal. Then, just like on the main page, we have the browsing map experience where you can sort of see where things are. But then we also have a button to launch that water resource locator to get the filtered experience and really tailored experience. And getting back to that soliciting feedback part, each of the breakout pages has a customer experience survey or a customer report survey. And these are relatively simple right now, but hopefully they capture really valuable information, right? We ask for the users or for the public members' first and last name, how old they are, and their license number. When they went fishing, where they went fishing, and what their experience was like. We do ask for some qualitative information. Hey, why'd you answer, you know, I strongly disagree to recommend fishing here. Oh my gosh, this was the best place ever. You know, why? Were the bathrooms not stocked? Did you not catch any fish? And this really can empower your organization to get the information that they need about where people are going and why. And then it's always fun to share when people have a really cool fish that they caught or really big fish, they can share an image of that here too. And that's really great for social media and other public outreach strategies that you might be using. And again, we have our fishing, we have an events calendar and the opportunity to join the outdoor community, join the fishing community, and really get those power users involved in your organization with the Get Involved button. And then just some frequently asked questions. These are irrespective of place generally, but if you have frequently asked questions that you know are specific to your area, these can be updated and changed. The hunting page follows a similar pattern where we have our orienting statistics and our step-by-step. Now, hunting is a little bit higher threshold to get into than, say, fishing. Usually there are courses that you have to take and some mentorship programs sometimes. So our review regulations section is a little bit, it's a little bit extra here. We have our Learn to Hunt button. So if you do have those mentorship programs, you can link to them here. If there are courses that you're offering to get certified, you can link to those here. And as a member of the public, I can just click that button and get to those resources quickly. The same thing with the hunting rules and regulations, right? They can be configured to whatever you need them to be. And just like our fishing page, you can click here to launch the retail or the recreation license locator, or to launch your online portal. And our same browse experience, or you can launch the wildlife resource locator. And with hunting, generally it's required to report what you've taken if you've gotten anything. And so this survey is focused a little less on experience, but definitely on like success or failure of your hunt. So we ask for your first and last name, your date of birth, and your license number. When and where you harvested, was it on public land or private land? What hunting unit, what method of take, and what did you harvest? If you choose deer or elk here, because they are antlered, generally organizations would like to know that. And so you get this further question, but if you just took a turkey, 'tis the season, you won't get that question. If there are specific requirements for your organization, this survey can be updated and can be configured to whatever you need it to be. And those instructions are documented. We'll take a look at that later. Any hunting events that you have will be listed here. And then especially with hunting, any volunteer opportunities that you might have for those mentor programs, or just to really build that sense of community, since that threshold for hunting is just a little higher. And again, frequently asked questions, these can be tailored to your area, or they can just stand as they are. And finally, the boating page with our orienting statistics, our step through. And boating is sort of the same situation as hunting, right? This is like a higher threshold, right? Like you need a boat to go boating generally. And you need to sort of take a safety class probably, and things like that. So we do have a boating education link, just like with the hunting page, and a link to boating rules and regulations. And so these can both be configured to link out to your organization's resources. You can browse the water resource locator or launch it to get that really configurable experience, to really tailor that experience to what you want. And again, we solicit public feedback with the boating experience survey. When did you go? Where did you go? What kind of watercraft were you in? I would recommend this experience to others. Personal information doesn't seem as important here. And we just kind of want to know, how was it like? How was it? Where'd you go? Was it amazing? We really hope so. Again, trying to empower you as the organization to really find out what resources are being used in your area and how you can either help them become more used or manage the ones that are being really, really used. An events calendar as well, frequently asked questions, and the opportunity for volunteerism, again, here on the boating community as well. And that is the Outdoor Recreation Hub page and our locators. And I know that is a lot of content to cover, so I wanted to take a moment and see what questions we had, if we had any.
Yeah, Lauren, there are a couple that came in through the chat, so I'll go ahead and read them out. So Julie was asking if the locators were mobile friendly.
The locators are mobile friendly. They're not as mobile friendly as we would like, so that's something we're working on. But you can use them. You can use them on a mobile device. It just has to be in browser. And so that's one of the things that we really want to improve as we move forward, because we know that mobile is such an important experience, especially in the outdoors, is improving that mobile experience for sure. That's a great question.
Daniel asks if, I think you answered this one, Lauren, when you did the demo later on, but it might be good to go over it again.
Sure.
Do the hunting and fishing apps connect to surveys or species count information and or regulations? And I think you covered this when you dug into the individual pages.
Yeah, so that the apps don't necessarily, if he's asking specifically about like the locator apps, do they link to specific historic hunting and fishing data? No, they don't. But that information is available on the main page, or can be made available by your organization on the main page in our outdoor recreation data section. And that leverages an open data.
Yeah. And thinking about if you wanted to say link to other content that you already have as an organization, it could be something you put in the pop-up that would show up in your locator. So just be
Absolutely.
kind of additional configuration. Same with the hub site as well. So fully extendable. And if you wanted to kind of swap things in and out that you may already have. So we give kind of the full system. But if you have things that you want to wire up or additional data that's important to your geography, then just kind of you could add that within kind of the normal
Pop-up.
style of configuration within ArcGIS. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that kind of gets to the next question Julie had about the pop-ups themselves. So how easily configurable are they, and can I add images?
Absolutely, absolutely. These are just using standard arcade expressions. So if you wanted to add images, you certainly could using arcade expressions. Yeah, absolutely. There's no reason you couldn't do that.
Okay. And Mike has a question. So this is his first meetup, so that's great.
Welcome, Mike.
Yep. And Mike wanted to know if this can be configured to cover areas that are off limits or have notifications such as areas to be careful of. And I think that, you could probably have the closed, you can use the open closed, right? And on the, for instance,
absolutely.
And one thing you could do, so all of these are from the applications, so like we're looking at an app now. So within this, we provide, hey, this is the data we see most often that users need. But there's always the case, or often the case, where, hey, I want to supplement some more information that's kind of relevant to our geography or our kind of regulation.
Yeah.
So that would probably be a case where I would I came from that world in a past life. So I would say I'm going to add that additional layer to the map that feeds into this app. And then that way I would have kind of what's available, but also maybe, because it's very, especially from like a boundary of like, okay, this is public or off limits, or especially from a seasonal perspective, these parcels may be in it. So I think it's more of you would supplement that data and it would still show up in the locator as well.
Yep.
Absolutely, absolutely. These are all attribute driven. So if you wanted to add an attribute that said off limits and then add it into the pop-up, that would be a very easy way to do that. So absolutely.
All right. I think that's all the questions for now. There'll probably be some more that pop up through the rest of the presentation, Lauren.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and continue on. Like I mentioned, this is the public engagement part of this, but Matt also mentioned some of the sort of, before you get to the public engagement portion, what if as a license issuing organization, you don't really understand what your license data is like, right? You're not quite sure what trends you're seeing are, where that data lives on a map is. And so we do offer, like Matt had mentioned, an ArcGIS Pro project that can start to visualize license trends and where your licenses are coming from and where they're lapsing and so on. And that's through the Recreation License Management Pro project. The Pro project uses tasks to do all of this, which is really cool. The first task really just sort of orients you to what you need. The tasks, or this sort of analysis uses a primary geography, and you can think of that as like the smallest amount of geographic area you'd be interested in understanding licensing in. In this case, we've used zip codes in Maryland, but you can use townships, you can use, you know, wards, whatever your geography is. And then a secondary geography, which is larger and encloses those smaller geographies. So in this case, we've used counties. And then you need license data in points for whatever number of years or whatever number of time increments you are interested in. And those points need to have a unique holder field, so like a license ID number. They need to have a gender field. They need to have like the date of the license purchase and what type of license it was. And this is pretty standard stuff from what we understand. Most people are collecting this information already. But those are the sort of the things you need to get started. And once you know that, you can jump into the analysis tasks. The first task, the prepare license data, really just gets your data into a form that's useful. So the prepare license areas asks you to add an ArcGIS online layer that's deployed with the solution to the map. And once you have that added to the map, basically what the tool does is adds your primary geography features and your secondary geography features to that license, to that feature service that we provide for you. So all of your data is just getting aggregated into our schema. Once you have that, you can do the same thing with the licensing data. And the organized license data step needs to be run for every time period of point data you have. So for me, I would run this tool 3 times because I have 3 years worth of data, 2017, 2018, and 2019. And I would input those point features here, and I would do some field mapping to make sure that my license types matched up with the license types that we are aggregating. And then I would map to those license areas that we just talked about. And I would run this 3 times. I'm not going to, it takes a little time to massage all that data. But once you do that, basically what this tool does is adds it adds information to your license data. So I will say that if you are very, very particular about your data and you don't want any fields added to it, you would want to work with copies, because it adds this year field, this primary geography field, and this secondary geography field. And once you've run that on all of your license data, then you can start to, then you can summarize that data into those geography areas, into your primary and secondary geography areas. We open this tool, it asks us to add our license data to the map. And once we do that, then it asks us to enter whatever year or time period we'd like to calculate license trends for. And again, I'm not necessarily going to do all of this, but I want to calculate license trends for 2019. The layer that corresponds to that is my license 2019. I also want to include the year previous because it's going to do some trending, right? It's going to see where licenses have lapsed and where they have been picked up for not just last year, but even the year before. And all it needs to do that is the license holder ID, and it'll split this out by gender. I can just tell it, hey, license ID is here. Here's my gender field. And when I run this, what I get after is a visualization of where my license is. There we go. Okay. Well, it's taking a little time to draw that, but you can at least see in tabular. There we go. Basically what it does is it does a lot of fancy math on these license areas to find the total number of license holders, how many are female, how many are male, what category they are, how many have been reactivated, how many have been renewed, and so on. Now, you know, you can continue this visualization in ArcGIS Pro if you'd like, but once you're done with these tasks, we move the visualization so that you can share it with other stakeholders up to ArcGIS Online in a dashboard. Because a dashboard gives us just a few other options in terms of what we can see. So I can filter by year over here on the left, and I just watched my license numbers. I watched my whole state get a lot lighter, right? What happened in I can start thinking about that immediately. What happened in 2019 that we lost so many licenses? I can look at the active license holder by birth year. That's where that birth date information comes into play. And we can see that there's been a decline, at least in, you know, Gen X, maybe early millennials. Looks like things are going better from at least this data set, and this is fake data, but maybe you would start to see some trends here in your own data. I can also see which month has the highest number of sales, so maybe I can start marketing campaigns that way. And over here on the right, I can see the total license holders. I can see which licenses have lapsed. And if I want to, I can start breaking out specific towns. This is where that primary geography comes into play. You can see Annapolis Junction doesn't have a whole lot. Aquasco, all those specific areas if I wanted to look through. I can also filter by county. So maybe I just want to look at Frederick County. And see. You can start to see like, oh, okay, maybe this is on trend for the whole state. Maybe it's not. You can see my chart here has updated. July is a really good year. And I can see the birth year breakdown. And so this is really getting at that visualize and start to understand where your licenses are lapsing, where they are reactivating, and how can you target those areas for either reactivation or marketing or one of those things, right? And the ArcGIS Pro project feeds directly into this dashboard. The feature service that you are working with in the Pro project is the feature service that drives this dashboard. So once that those tasks are complete in Pro, your dashboard is ready to go. And that is the sort of license analysis component to this as well. And you might be thinking at this point, wow, this is a lot of content. How do I get this? How do I get all of this wonderful stuff? Well, I'm really happy to tell you that it's actually really, really easy. Just this summer and this fall, we've released a new ArcGIS Solutions app that is fully integrated in the ArcGIS platform and is really easy to access directly from your ArcGIS Online organization. All you have to do to get this content is log into your ArcGIS Online organization, click the app switcher here, and click Solutions. And you're immediately placed into our ArcGIS Solutions Deployment app. I think there are 88 at this point. It's almost all of our solutions that are available here in the Solutions app. And it's really easy to find what you want. All you have to do is search, boom, there it is. I can click on the details and get a nice overview. Now, if I wasn't 100% sure that this is what I wanted, clearly you all are 100% sure at this point that this is what you want. So all you would have to do is click Get Now, and it would deploy all of the data products that we've looked at today. But maybe you were just a little unsure and you wanted to maybe more fully understand what the Recreation Outreach Solution was about. In addition to the Solutions app, we've also launched a new documentation site and product site. So just by clicking that Learn More link, you get sent to our new doc site, and I'm really excited about it, where you get an introduction. It's that same introduction, but you can also see what requirements you need, see what information products are available, see any release notes. And this additional documentation, this use recreation outreach and configure recreation outreach, these documentation pages walk a user through using these products and how to configure everything. So if you're the member of the public and you're not sure what to do, you can get to this use recreation outreach link. If you're the person who's configuring all of this, you have step-by-step instructions on how to do it, which is really exciting. And this documentation is available for all of the solutions that you can find in the app, in the solution deployment app, which is really, really cool. The documentation is a part of the larger new solutions product page that we have that we've released as well. And this really tells the story of ArcGIS Solutions as an integrated part of ArcGIS. How we are tailoring business and technology to your business needs, how we're visualizing or how we're getting valuable ArcGIS configurations out to you and really lowering the time and energy it takes for you to get your systems up and running. And these deployments, like Matt and I were saying, are very flexible. We hope that we give you the base that you need to get started, and then it's extendable as far as you need it, right? You're only limited by your imagination and the ArcGIS platform. You can get more into licensing, searching, and deploying the Solutions app here. And then probably some of you are familiar with our industry pages. If there's a specific industry of solutions that you'd like to see, you can click on these and you can get to them. And it tells you, hey, you're in conservation. Here are solutions that you might be interested in deploying. And then a gallery of really popular solutions that you can get to. You can get to our Solutions app using these View Solution links. And this year has been, of course, I think, just as it has been for everybody, sort of a year where we've really focused in on large issues. In Solutions, we have two key initiatives this year, the COVID-19 key initiatives and our racial equity initiatives. And by clicking on these links, you can get to an overview of all of the work that we've done to try to help contribute to the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the racial equity, as well as the work we were doing on racial equity. And you can really sort of dig more deeply into those initiatives. And probably my favorite part are the customer testimonials, where our customers tell you, how valuable these solutions have been. And of course, you can always reach out to us. ArcGIS Solutions are fully supported in the ArcGIS environment, and so we're always happy to help answer questions. You can call tech support if you have technical questions. We're here to help, certainly. And now I think speaking of questions, is probably a great time to see if there are any more questions. I think that's all I have, too.
Well, thanks, Lauren. There are a couple questions in here, more related to the public engagement components. So again, getting back to the locators.
Yeah.
Is there a way to configure the pop-up for sunrise to sunset instead of time of day? I think that one's going to be a little tricky, but it could be.
Yeah, I think you probably could. The open and closed locators are based on a time open field, and so there's a lot of stuff that happens on the back end to see if they're open or not. But I think probably you could do that.
Yeah, we'd have to take a look at, because of course those times are going to change depending on the time of year.
Yeah,
so we're going to have to take a look at that one in more detail.
That would be...
But we can follow up with Julie on that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Adam was asking about intersecting polygons. So he was saying, can I show multiple polygons in the same attribute pop-up essentially? And I think that we do have patterns for that in other solutions, like land use outreach as an example. We have a floodplain inquiry solution that helps you identify parcels that might be in a flood zone. Obviously, those are two different Polygon features, and then one pop-up shows you if it is or not. So there are some patterns that you could draw from. I don't think we're doing any of that in these locators, though.
We're not right now, but I know that, especially with like hunting areas and things like that, there are a lot of multiple use areas. So, that's absolutely a valid question and workflow that maybe we could look into, certainly.
Yeah, and it's maybe something we can talk to Adam about to see what he had in mind.
Yeah.
I think thinking about that type of question where it might take some kind of further discussion with our team or with the user. So we have a new GeoNet experience. So if folks aren't familiar, that's kind of our way we engage, like as Esri as a company engages with our community. So you can ask questions, submit ideas. So that might be a good spot, Adam, if you want to go and kind of ask that question under our GeoNet experience. And we can kind of further that type of discussion. Really,
and it might be something. It might be something we want to enhance the solution with as well. Yeah. If it's like private or public lands, right, intersecting with wildlife areas and things like that.
Absolutely.
All right, Michael is asking about the park locator. We noticed that the application has now entered mature support. How can we migrate our progress to date into this new recreation outreach solution?
Well, the good news, that is a great question. The good news is if you deploy the recreation outreach solution from our new app, and you already have some of these components, it will reuse those components. So I guess I would have specific questions about like how long ago you deployed the park locator, because the park locator is only going into mature support because it's included in this new recreation outreach solution. So for you, Mike, I don't think you would need to do anything. All you would need to do if you wanted the rest of this content, the hub sites, all of the surveys, the Pro project, is click the Get Now button on our new app, and it would use the existing content in your organization for the park locator. So hopefully you wouldn't have to do anything. Hopefully it would just be seamless, just like that. I'm pretty sure that's how it's
and we can follow up too on this one just to make sure that when you do deploy the new one, everything, we're not going to replace anything that you've done in yours, obviously. We also want to learn probably from what you did, so we can incorporate potential enhancements as well.
Absolutely.
All right. And all right, one more, and then we'll jump to the finish here. So Adam was asking, these are deployed to ArcGIS Online, but is there anything on the roadmap to get these solutions deployed to your own portal or ArcGIS Enterprise?
Yeah, I think solutions wide, that's a concern, right? To get into enterprise. There's certainly no reason, we're working on that for the locators. The hub presents sort of harder problems because of open data just isn't available in Portal. And this includes an open data component. But yeah, I think long term we would like to move all of these into enterprise and the outdoor recreation, specifically recreation outreach, specifically in enterprise. Yeah, absolutely.
And
like
it's definitely something.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say we're definitely working on that for 2021. It's one of our goals.
Yeah.
So
like the larger initiative to move as many solutions to have that ArcGIS enterprise support with the ArcGIS Solutions app kind of integrated within that enterprise experience. So that's something that's definitely to look forward to.
Yep. All right. So that's it for the questions for now.
Cool. I'll go ahead and stop sharing, and I'll send it back to Matt.
All right. So I just to kind of wrap us up here, we have a few minutes left in our time for our meetup. So I wanted to kind of highlight that this is a continuously evolving solution. So some of the ideas or questions that we heard today are kind of common that we've already been hearing from users. So, and I say new possible capabilities because as we're still iterating on this and working, all of our solutions, we work with our users to really figure out what's the best way to help them kind of with their business challenges and in their organization. So some of the things that we've kind of been hearing from our users about, so additional analytic capabilities. So whether that's you saw Lauren showed some of the surveys capturing information. All of those can also be extended, and you can add questions and kind of change how that formatting is. These are all, you get it as is, but then you fit it to your needs. But also, how do we maybe add additional survey components and then be able to take that and kind of do a full spectrum of like reaching back out to the user and engaging with them. So you'll see that in some of our other solutions as well, maybe like something like a citizen problem reporter kind of concept where we can bring that kind of two-way street of engagement, that full cycle, into this as well. Maybe some other demographic analysis, especially if when it comes to that kind of, you've identified areas that geographies and types of demographics that you might want to share specific targeted marketing efforts to. So that's kind of how do you start pulling that information in? And then really this concept of, I'm calling it recreation data aggregation, because it really would be all types of data. You see a very common pattern, maybe it's a statewide trail system where it's federal, state, and local and other organizations aggregating their data, so it really helps kind of get that full. So I'm located in the mountain areas, and we want to be able to, I want to go from maybe I'm looking at a county trail, but I also have federal lands adjacent to that, and I want to look at that. So that's something that we already are doing, data aggregation and other, so like parcels and addresses and other components. So we have the tools already, so we really want to apply that to recreation data. So hopefully that's that's going to be of interest for users as well. And then kind of updating and integrating some of the trails applications that we have and kind of getting that into the experience as well. So all that being said, all of these ideas we're coming from your feedback and input. So if you have any, I mentioned that GeoNet experience. You can reach out to your, maybe the account manager, solution engineers you work with, really any of those, and just kind of bubble that information back. And this is how we kind of improve and enhance all of our solutions. And then I just wanted to kind of mention, so Lauren showed the ArcGIS Solutions, the new site we have. And just kind of give you an idea though, so we're talking about recreation outreach, but within the new solution site, how we've kind of really helped to enhance and discover other solutions that you may, so if you're monitoring conservation easements and doing inspections on that, or really applicable here is this community science aspect. So within that kind of citizen science, community science realm, maybe you want to start capturing, as they go outdoor and recreate, how are you capturing information and observations from the public or even specific groups often. We have another component where you can set up and pull in photos from wildlife camera traps that you may have out and you want to kind of do an analysis and pull that data in. So there's just a lot of other solutions that may be of interest to you that you can find. There's an industry section under the solution site. You can kind of search, you can see on the page here, so fish and wildlife and natural resources. There's also just a search bar up top. Go and search, and you can kind of find related content. And then if you want to provide feedback, we always love to hear in terms of the meetup itself, what you heard, what you might want to see. So here's the link here. I think Chris will share it in the chat window as well. But it's just simply links.esri.com and then / November 2020 meetup. So love to hear from you guys. And with that being said, I'm not sure if there are any more questions. Maybe take a couple questions, and if not, we can go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah, there weren't any new questions, Matt.
Okay,
so I think we're
perfect.
good on that.
Cool. So so we know your time is really valuable, and we appreciate you joining us today. That concludes today's meetup. So this is actually our last meetup of 2020. We're already kind of it's kind of crazy. We're getting to the end of the 2020 here. So we're working on identifying a schedule for next year, for 2021. In the meantime, please reach out if you'd like to engage with our team. I've mentioned GeoNet a couple times, but that's something that we're really trying to grow there as well. So definitely reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. So thanks for attending today, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye, everyone.